Hi, my name's Cordy. It's been a while that I've been posting, and yesterday we hit a fairly significant subscriber milestone at 17,500 subscribers. I'm hoping to get to 20,000 subscribers sort of by the end of the year, maybe. I don't know, maybe if you want to hit the like and subscribe button. But the guitar stuff is sort of a window dressing, and what I'm really passionate about is stand-up comedy, and I'm in talks with a few different kind of service providers, whether it's Netflix, Showtime, the American kind of setup, and Comedy Central, I think. But I just wanted to sort of tease this. Once we get to 20,000, I'm hoping I can really go to those companies and say, look, I've got a fan base now. We can really hit this comedy thing hard. So I'm going to try a few little bits for you. Let me know in the comments if you think this is the kind of thing that they're going to go for. I've got dreams of one day of using kind of the money from YouTube and stuff like that to buy a house sort of near a freshwater fishing kind of area, you know, maybe a freshwater river, stream or a lake or something like that. And I'll just go down there sort of 3 times a week in the morning, and I'll you know, bait up a fishing rod and, you know, put maybe a worm or 2 on there and try and catch some fish, sort of, and maybe, I guess you could call it a pike dream. Right. So also R. Kelly's into chickpea, isn't he? And I think sort of seems to have been a bit misunderstood, that chap. So I think the tune Bump and Grind, for instance, I think was about the kind of versatile nature of chickpeas, and, you know, you can sort of grind them up and make hummus. I'm sort of hoping for a posthumous redemption for R. Kelly. Alright, so yeah, that's that in it. But on this incredible sort of laugh, maybe you want to like and subscribe or leave a comment. Tell me who I should be pitching to. Okay, cool. So what we're actually here to talk about today is spread triads. I think we're going to check them out in the harmonic minor world. So if you're not familiar with what these things are, we have the major scale. Presuming you're going to be familiar with that, and that sounds like something like that. So that's the A major scale. And then you also have this thing like a natural minor scale, which other people might call Aeolian scale, or, you know, this thing. Sounds the same, right? Because it is the same. It's basically just the major scale, but starting from a different place, essentially. And so I don't think of that as like a true minor scale. However, we also have these things called the harmonic minor scale, which sounds like this. And the melodic minor scale, which sounds like this. Kind of similar, right? The difference is that the melodic minor scale has a raised 6th and a raised 7th, whereas the harmonic minor scale has just the raised 7th. So melodic minor, you'd have a raised 6th, and then 7th, then back to the root, and the harmonic minor. So you hear there's like a subtle difference. In classical terms, a melodic minor scale turns into a natural minor scale as you descend, but in kind of jazz, the melodic minor scale just remains the same in both directions, if that's confusing. The harmonic minor scale stays the same in both directions. We talked about spread triads in the major scale, we talked about them in the melodic minor scale, and now I wanted to talk about them in the harmonic minor scale. Triads that we get. So we get, built off the 1st degree, we end up with this A minor triad. Built off the 2nd degree, we end up with a diminished triad, and then an augmented triad. And then a minor triad, and then a major triad, and then another major triad, and then another diminished, and another minor. So this is a bit of a weird one for me. I don't use the harmonic minor scale that often, so just bear with me. But yeah, so minor, if we descend, a diminished, built off the G sharp, and then we need to come down to the F, and then another major, so an F major, then an E major, then a minor, then an augmented, diminished, minor. So that's different to the melodic minor spread triads in two places, so worth looking at. So now we're going to turn it into our spread triad, where we move the third from here to the top note, if that makes sense. So minor, then diminish, then augmented, and then another minor, major, major, and then I think another diminished, right? And then a minor again. So that's the sound that you end up with. So, worth checking that out. And then, like I did with the melodic minor scale, you could start to think about trying to arpeggiate these into one another. Worth checking that out, I think. So on the top string as well, work it out on every string set. So that's what I'm going to be working on, and I think what we'll talk about next is kind of joining up some of these ideas and inversions. So you could move through the scale using just these root position triads, even though they are spread, they're still in root position. Or you could think about starting to involve some inversions. And I think that starts to introduce some really interesting sounds. So So that's what we're going to come to soon, but this is the harmonic minor kind of idea of what I was talking about. This is specifically for Thomas, if you're watching. And thank you for stopping by. If you want to like and subscribe, that would really help me with my comedy career. Also, the tab for this is going to be up on my Patreon, and I might try and put together some kind of funky exercises for this. Certainly next week I'm going to anyway. That's going to show you the harmonic minor triads, spread triads, and then those kind of arpeggio ideas that I was working through there across the string sets. So hopefully that's vaguely interesting. There's also a buy me a coffee link just in case you really got something out of this and you wanted to say thank you, but only do that if you can afford to, because you know you don't need to. Just leave a comment and say cheers. That's also perfectly useful. Cheers.